Last of Us. I watched it.
Okay, you are braver than I am because I watched up until Joel. Spoilers. Joel dies, which is a thing people happen in the games and it happens in the TV show. The one thing about this season is that it is so much worse than the first season, and I wasn't hot on the first season. I was pretty lukewarm. I liked the third episode with the gay couple in the apocalypse. That was fine.
And now I like that episode less, by the way, because the show did nothing with a concept like that.
Right.
Like, well, then why was that episode there?
Or like in the opening scene is like this 1960s or something talk show.
Yeah.
And it's about
did nothing with that.
It made it seem like it was going to be more prestige than it was.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. It kind of like it signified prestige and then it never did it. I think a lot of those opening theme songs, like the graphic design theme songs that a lot of these prestige shows do, they're there to trick you and make you think that there's something happening here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely like a True Detective type thing or
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Oh, absolutely. And so right off the bat, when I started the season, I noticed everything was worse. Like the blocking was worse. The cinematography was worse. The lighting, was like more TV-ish. It's just everything was, even like the makeup and costuming was worse. Like everyone seemed like they were just out like straight off of a like ABC Family show instead of like I think the first season was better than this, right? Like I'm starting to forget, but it's like after Joel died and it's like the militia is being led by this petite 5'2". These men are meekly following her orders, and it's like
I don't get it.
This would never happen in the apocalypse. Never. I'm sorry.
And around every corner was this problem of like, for some reason, 5'2" 19-year-olds run this whole fucking show. But not just 5'2" 19-year-olds. Model hot, Hollywood actress, which, I don't want to like harp on like Bella Ramsey not being traditionally attractive, but it is a stark fucking contrast from like, you got the beautiful Dora the Explorer.
Hi, I'm Dora, and I'm being chased by a herd of angry pygmy elephants. Can you say angry pygmy elephant?
You've got Abby, who's like a hottie. These are all like models, basically. And they're leading militia. And then even like, so I think after you stopped watching, they had like a cold open where, do you remember Ted's mom from the Ted show?
Yeah.
A really funny mom from that show.
Why did you have a porn?
I would say a porno. Just hits the ear better.
Why were you watching porno?
It's a porno, but if not, it's just porn.
I'm just not going to say it anymore.
Okay.
Well, she's like one of the militia leaders. And she's, she's not funny. She sits down and she's like, you're going to tell us everything we fucking need to know. Like, at this point, you're pulling my leg. Like, you're trying to mess with me here.
What happened? If it's war again, we're going to need all the soldiers we have, so he's wondering why you apparently killed some of your own men.
Oh, look, Maddie. They have a whole man just for the pepper. Oh, let's get something that needs pepper.
I'll tell you, if you were decades into the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, where there's no safety for anybody, and you had like beautiful young women
on the front lines,
you would not let them near fucking combat.
No.
Right?
No. And I don't know much about the video games, but I've seen like the cover art of second game. So I know Abby in the game is much more like buff, looks more intimidating, like an MMA fighter. At least that's like sort of like, yeah, she's big, like.
Yeah, people were saying that. They were like, no, well, you would kind of believe the game one. And I was like, I don't think so. And then I saw her and I was like, okay, I get it. Like I kind of get it. She looks like she's hopped up on testosterone. And Joel's brother's wife, she looks more credible in the game as well.
In the game, like, just from the little I've seen, has a better look to it. This looks so stagey. It looks so cheap.
Like the content was cheap too. Like they had some really cheesy kind of cliche moments that almost felt like a Darman video or something. There like the opening scene. So for those who don't know or who care, end of season 1, Ellie, the young lady played by Bella Ramsey that Pedro Pascal, Joel, is traveling with, when she gets bitten, she doesn't turn. And so she could maybe produce, they could produce a vaccine out of her in some way to cure everybody. And so she's brought to where they're gonna take her blood and make a cure. Joel realizes this will kill her, and he kills everybody to protect her. And then he lies to her, says he never, she never knows that that's what happened. And then that they have to reckon with that this season. So they introduce Abby, a mastermind. They said that at one point, like later in the season, they were like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Abby is a great soldier. In fact, one of the best I've ever seen in my whole entire life. However, she's not really that important.
She's a good soldier, great even. But we have an entire fucking army out there, and you're acting like she's the most important.
This 5'2", like, wave like this, like a gust of wind could blow her over. You find these women in like looking at candles and fucking anthropology,
and there's big huge dudes with guns and military paraphernalia, and they're like, Abby,
yes, Abby.
I don't, would it be okay, Abby, if we stayed alive today?
Abby. Abby.
But yeah, in the opening scene, she was the daughter of the doctor that was killed by Joel, and she's like, we got to find this Joel guy, and she goes, hey, slowly, and they're like, what? And she goes, when we kill him slowly. And I'm like, this is the most cheese dick shit I've ever seen in my life.
Slowly.
What?
When we kill him. We kill him slowly.
Mike Ehrmantraut could probably sell that line. But
Yeah, we kill him slowly. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna find Joel. You're gonna bring him to me. We're gonna have a little sit down, a little chit chat. First, I'm gonna start killing you.
we're gonna get the golf club.
I'm gonna break your legs with a golf club. You're gonna lay there, and I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do next. Then I'm gonna take my boot. I'm gonna smash your head like a watermelon because it's summertime and I like watermelon. So anyway, I put a comment. I think this is about Joel's brother's wife. I said, imagine having a nose ring in the apocalypse.
That's so true.
Everything is through an idiot Hollywood person's prism.
Yes. That's the thing, is like a lot of the casting just feels like right off of central casting and right off of the dance class.
So the actress who played Dora the Explorer in the very wonderful 2018 Dora the Explorer movie.
Goodbye, everyone. Great job today. We did it. We finished school.
A great actress, beautiful woman too, and she's funny in everything I've seen her in so far. She's pretty charismatic in this. She's a little bit cheesy though, because the whole show is cheesy. But she becomes kind of something. She's like pregnant, and she becomes a love interest to Bella Ramsey. And she's just, again, dude, like we're like decades into the apocalypse. She's got this bouncy brown hair that's perfect.
Well, that was the thing, was like when before they kill Joel, he goes on a struggle session with his therapist, and the therapist has like layers of makeup on and like lipstick, and I was like, there's no fucking way.
If you're a costume and makeup department, like how do you justify these decisions? I understand that like there's like, just to be TV ready, you kind of, you sort of cheat some of the look, right? But I don't remember, Walking Dead is not my favorite show. I don't remember Walking Dead having people walking around looking absolutely gorgeous.
They look hard. They look like they're in an apocalypse. And they haven't been in the apocalypse as long as these people have.
It's very distracting. Like, I found it extremely distracting. But I did, on the topic of Walking Dead, one of my first notes I put down was, it's hard to believe it's 2025 and I'm still watching the fucking Walking Dead.
You get bit? Are you bit?
Are you bit? No, I'm not bit.
Are you bit?
Sometimes I wonder if it's them that's the problem or if it's us. I can't believe I'm still watching this crap.
Did you get bit, Frankie? Did you get bit?
Did they get you? There's always some stupid name that's not zombie, Did one of the funguses get you? Did you get fungused? Our zombie world's a little different than the typical zombie
We call
world.
them walkers here.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara plays that therapist, by the way, doing the struggle session, which is interesting. I mean, I like her. But she came off fictional.
Well, the whole situation was just like, oh God.
I know I should forgive you. Well, I've tried, and I can't. Because of how you did it. And looking at your face, sitting in our home Makes me so fucking angry.
I wrote down, this show is the adventures of Abby and Zoe and Chloe and Shelby. Felt like every character I encountered was like, it's Shelby, it's Chloe,
Shelby,
it's Abby.
and this is her militia.
Right.
And I definitely saw the I'm going to be a dad thing going viral.
I'm gonna be a dad.
Okay.
There were only 7 episodes total. I want to say for like the first 4, they followed this really boring formula where they would introduce a very small bad guy. Ellie and Dora the Explorer would narrowly avoid the zombies. There's like a lot of like indoor avoiding zombies scenes. And I think it's because they're easier and cheaper to shoot because they're just in the dark and you just shake around a camera.
And I think in the first season they got some criticism because there wasn't enough zombies, and they were like, "Oh, we got to put some zombies in the show."
No, I could do without so many I could do without.
You get bit.
Sometimes I think it's us. They narrowly avoid the zombies in a dark room. Then they trauma dump. Well, what's going on with you? How did this all happen to you? Well, you want to hear the part about how my brother tried to molest me or that my mom died? Because I'm not really in the mood to talk about either. Jeez, I'm sorry. I didn't. It's just that over and over again.
This is why I stopped watching.
And we were watching this in tandem with Andor, which, like, you know, the first 6 episodes of that was challenging. And then it turned into something pretty remarkable. And so, like, this thing didn't get off the ground.
I saw the seeds. I was like, this can't go anywhere. This can't.
Well, once Abby kills Joel, right? She finds Joel, she kills him. Then Bella Ramsey, Ellie, wants to go on an expedition, find Abby and kill Abby.
Yeah, I miss him. He meant a lot to me. So, yeah, upset and sad.
So Dora the Explorer follows her. She turns out to be bisexual and is hitting on Bella Ramsey the whole time, which is very not believable. I'm sorry to tell you. Like, they're in like a tent and she's like, "Can we make out?" Bella Ramsey's like, "What? No, I don't do that."
Go on, just finger bang me with your dirty fingernails.
Yeah, so they end up in like a warehouse. They just were fighting like bludgeoned zombie guts and stuff. And they start like making out and she finger blasts Dora the Explorer.
Pregnant
And she's
Dora
got
the
filthy fingers.
It's like, please give me a UTI. Just please give me a UTI.
I was like, I am so excited to tell my wife about this episode. I was like, and then get this. They finger blast her with filthy fingers. And she's like, "Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to watch that." I was like, pretty unbelievable though, right? When I tell you it's a Darman video, I'm not lying. It stretches credulity. The note I have here is girls fucking in filth. You got to make quick notes so you know what to talk about on the Dora the Explorer gets finger blasted in filth.
I mean, that when you put it like that, it sounds kind of awesome.
You're like, well, never mind. It could be the best thing ever. Remember Lalo from Better Call Saul? He plays...
Does he play a meek servant in a militia?
Yeah. "Abby, please. I'm just doing my best." Shut up. No, he plays they do a flashback of Joel and his brother when they were kids. And
Okay.
Lalo plays their dad, who's a cop who beats them.
Oh, okay.
Very creative. And then they do, because there's like this tension that's not fully explored in the early episodes between Joel only survives two episodes and change.
Yeah.
Out of the 7. At first, they don't really tell you why there's tension between Ellie and Joel. And then you kind of learn later on through a flashback episode, which I think it was the penultimate episode. You learn that the whole thing with Catherine O'Hara's husband was like they were out on an expedition together and they found him and he was bit. And Joel had promised Ellie that he wouldn't kill the guy. And then he killed the guy and lied about it. And then it kind of catches up with them that this whole thing with the hospital that happened in season 1 was a lie too. And so that's why they're tense. But I was sitting there going like, why are we doing this as a flashback? Like, why are we like? Maybe you should have just told this in order, and then maybe like the drama could have like ratcheted a bit, and then when he dies, it would be much more tragic actually, because they have all this unresolved stuff between one another. Instead, I watched him die, and I knew you had unresolved stuff, but I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just frustrated because then it just seems like Bella Ramsey's being a dick the whole time.
You know, just shitty storytelling, and it's like this is really not that hard, guys. I also said everyone falls way short of Pedro Pascal as an actor in this thing.
Which, you know, like people are talking about Pedro Pascal fatigue, but he is way better than every single person.
I'm just calling it like I see it. He's a much better actor than everybody else in this thing.
And I hear that after the episode where he dies, like the viewership just drops off a cliff. I think it's people also like this gimmick is just people are tired of it.
The Ned Stark gimmick.
Yeah, the Ned Stark gimmick. It's like, oh yeah, you're just being shocking.
The only way the Ned Stark thing works is if you do it almost never. That's the only thing that makes it kind of surprising and kind of like destabilizing. And you also, not for nothing, you need like a lot of supporting characters that are around that are going to be worth watching after that.
Yeah, Game of Thrones was filled with really great side characters.
Yeah, I don't remember people hating Bella Ramsey in the first season. I remember memes and stuff, and I remember thinking like they could have cast somebody different for this. But it felt like the her plus Pedro Pascal thing allowed it to kind of work. And then her being by herself with Dora. Dora should be preserved for much better projects than this. I think there's something to her.
Dora the kidnapped teenager.
Isn't she Hawk Girl in Superman or whatever?
Hawk Girl? I thought you said Hot Girl.
Hawk
I was like,
Tua. She's gonna be Hawk Tua in the next Superman.
We can go up to Superman and spit on that thing. I have to say too, I thought that Daredevil Born Again, which I am like not a fan of that show, I thought that was better than this.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So in a bunch of the episodes, in the cold opens especially, they had like the guy who played Commissioner Gordon. He plays some kind of military leader. Ted's mom plays some kind of military leader. There's like these like splinter groups, and I think they work with or work for Abby. And they're introduced in the cold opens, and then nothing happens with them. I would say even like Dora being pregnant kind of goes nowhere. And I hear now, because I thought there was only 2 games, and so I thought maybe this was it. I guess like season 3 is a go. They're shooting season 3.
Yeah, well, I think season 2 and 3 is basically the events of the second game.
Okay, so I'm only halfway through this fucking second game that I keep hearing about.
Yeah, like it's a pretty divisive game to begin with. Like some people like it just as a game, but the story sucks. Some people like both. They like the story and the game.
Oh yeah, there's also some tribe. There's like a tribe of like native or like psychotic people that are in the woods, like hanging people and gutting people. And that's like in the show a little tiny bit, and that goes nowhere. There's like all these weird plot threads that are just there, and our characters somewhat encounter them. It's really, really fucking...
What's weird is that, you know, the showrunner of this made Chernobyl. That show is amazing.
Right.
It's like it's one of the best things I've seen on TV.
IGN gave the finale a 6, and if IGN gave it a 6,
6. That's basically a 2 for IGN.
Yeah, the ending spoilers. Ellie finds Abby's secret base. You know, she lives in like a castle on the water or something. It's so stupid. And she finds some of Abby's personnel, and she basically accidentally kills them because they like try to fire on her, and she fires on one of them in self-defense, and like the bullet kills him, and then it kills the other girl behind him. And then she learns that girl is pregnant too, and she's very connected to the concept of being pregnant because of Dora the Explorer, who she finger blasted in filth. And if she feels real bad, but she moves on with it. And then she and Joel's brother and like one of the other characters kind of all to get together, and they have kind of like a romp, getting a little bit silly and kind of banterous with one another.
Yeah, start finger blasting each other.
Yeah, they're finger blasting each other left and right, and
their hands are filthy, the filthiest hands you've ever seen.
Yeah, they wash their hands in filth and then finger blast each other. But then like they're like walking out, and Abby's just there, and she's like, "Shut up, get down!" Like she, dun dun dun. She kills one of them. She mortally wounds, I think, Joel's brother, and as far as we can tell, she kills Ellie. Because Ellie like yells like, "No!" And then there's like a gunfire, and it cuts to black. And then wakes up in this kind of serene atmosphere. She's like, "Oh," almost like the whole thing's a dream, like it's the Wizard of Oz. And she walks out to like a balcony, and she oversees like I think like a sports stadium that has a lot of like green flora growing. And it says like Seattle, day 1. And I think back to, remember like the pilot episode of Last of Us, the very first one? Remember like Joel finds out what's going on, and he like gets in the car, and there's like a oneer of him in the car.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite show in the world, but I was like, this would be like if Walking Dead focused on some characters instead of having a million characters. Mm-hmm. And they were played by really good actors, at least in the case of Pedro. and it was shot beautifully. Yeah, and then they did like the gay guys episode, which is like a cool like zombie movie kind of, you know.
Yeah, it's like a little vignette, a bottle episode.
I have like kind of a question about just like the marketing and the commercialism of a show like this. Is the idea that so many people played the video game that all of the video game players will enjoy watching the adaptation? Or is it that the fact that it was a popular video game will make it stand out with general audiences, and then general audiences will watch Last of Us for the first time?
Yeah, it's probably closer to that, where they think the video game is prestige drama, and they want to introduce that to a broader audience, and they want to use the video game players as kind of marketing for that story. I think the first season was fairly effective at that, I would say, because a lot of people did like it, even like boomers, because they're always trying to look for a new Walking Dead. And
I can't believe there's a new zombie show. We need to put zombies away for 50 years.
Yeah, probably. And so I think that was their goal, is to, and you get a showrunner like the Chernobyl guy, and you can really elevate this into, and video games will be art for real this time. And then you like, I don't know, they must have cut the budget or something for the second season.
I was just thinking, like, you have a couple options here. Like, you could adapt the game exactly. But that to me seems kind of stupid because from what I understand about the game, I've not played it, the game plays kind of like a compelling movie. And so if you play the game, you've kind of watched a cool movie. So I'm not sure that that almost seems like a surefire way of falling short of the game for the people who like it. So another way to adapt it might be change what happens in a way that is faithful but allows it to be a larger TV show. You know, if the second game was so divisive, just go a different way with it. You know, just tell a different story.
Yeah.
And
well, then it becomes like kind of political because the second game was so divisive, but it like had that kind of message. So it's like either you divert and then the chuds win.
But what is the message exactly, and how is it even political? Like, Joel dies, but she was a lesbian to begin with, so like her sexuality has nothing to do with either season anyway, really. I mean, like a little bit. But Joel dying is that what the chuds? If we didn't kill Joel, then the chuds win.
I mean, I think women were still running these militias in the game too. So.
Yeah, well, so I just say find yourself some like female wrestlers or something. But you know, another way you could go with it would be, because I assume that the gay couple from season 1, I assume that was not in the game.
I think it was implied, but it wasn't.
Well, it was a cool departure. It was a cool like thing to go explore, you know, some other story to explore. What if the Last of Us TV show was every single episode is like a different bottle episode? It's just about the stories of. Yeah, maybe the pilot is Joel, you know, and that gets us 20 years in. Or maybe you don't do that until season 2 or season 3 or something. But something where you're like, hey, want to just like live in this universe? Because this is the story of humanity trying to move on. Instead of just this one pack of people running from the next bad guy, from the next bad guy.
Yeah, and you could tell like greater, vignettes, and maybe tell different, like, oh, this part of the country is doing this and this part of the country is doing that. And like maybe there's like a group of scientists trying to get a cure here, but they're running into problems. Like you could do those kind of stories in an interesting way, like little, short stories. Yeah.
And just do like 7 of them, and they're all 45 minutes. And
it paints like a broad picture of the apocalypse with this.
Yeah, maybe there's like a meta story that kind of like reveals itself by the final episode. Or like, oh, like those pieces kind of, you can do, I don't know, just you do other cool things besides like, want to just make the divisive second game?
Oh, you bit?
Sometimes I think it's us.
Maybe revenge is bad.
Let me tell you about forgiveness. I don't want to hear about forgiveness. Yeah, though it sucked balls. I was quite surprised. If you're gonna be shitty like that, at least like give me the Acolyte, man.
Yeah, I mean the Acolyte is kind of entertaining.
Well, people criticize us for watching things that nobody else is going to like or nobody watches, but I'm like, are you telling me that I regret watching The Acolyte? I do not regret watching The Acolyte. And it's really thanks to this podcast that I watched The Acolyte, because I don't think I would have otherwise, but I'm glad I did.
I feel bad for that Mr. Squid Games guy, because he probably like was calling his family back in Korea. It's like, yes, I'm going to be in American Star Wars, and he was in that.
You were in that. It might not be American Star Wars. Maybe like college Star Wars.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.